Kaustubh Kapadni, Modern College of Engineering. Today we are going to see a steam power plant. So here you can see this is steam power plant. You can see a boiler which is vertical boiler, water tube boiler. There is one component that is steam turbine. Here the steam will expand, and when steam will expand, we can generate electricity. To generate the electricity, we are having generator here. You can see condenser. When steam will expand in turbine, that steam will come out, that steam will get condensed. In this condenser, we have to pump water and we have to feed it to boiler. So we have to condense it first. So we are providing condenser here. When the steam will get condensed, we feed it again to boiler. Now let's see what is boiler. Today we have to learn how to find out dryness fraction. Dryness fraction means, if you see the formula, that is in numerator, if you see, that is mass of dry steam. In numerator, mass of dry steam. In denominator, we say the total quantity, that is dry steam plus moisture in water. So suppose 8 liter water we are going to feed in boiler. Out of this 1 liter or out of that 1 kg water, suppose 500 gram has boiled, then dryness fraction will be 0.5 in that case. But by calculation we have to find out this, or by practically we have to find out this dryness fraction. To find out dryness fraction, we are using separating calorimeter and throttling calorimeter. So here you can see this setup. This is separating calorimeter, this bigger one, and this smaller one is throttling calorimeter. So we will learn about this setup later. Okay, we have to find out dryness fraction using this setup. First of all, let's see what is boiler, which type of boiler we are having here, and what are the various pipings. When we will learn Rankine cycle, at that time we have to learn his schematic. What are the various parts in that cycle? So mainly 4 parts are there. Boiler, as I said before, boiler. Then turbine is there. You can see this steam line. Here you can see this steam line. When we generate steam in boiler, that steam will go to turbine. There it will expand, and to that turbine it will go to condenser. Here in condenser it will get condensed, and again it will go to tank. From tank we pump it and we feed it to boiler. So that's the cycle. So pump is also there. So mainly 4 components are there. Boiler, then turbine is there, condenser is there, and pump is there. So if you see Rankine cycle, there are 4 processes. The first process is heating. So heating will happen in boiler. That is constant pressure heating. Okay, ideally, if you see Carnot cycle, the temperature is constant, but here we keep pressure constant. Okay, constant pressure heating in boiler. Suppose pressure is 8 bar and temperature is 400 degrees Celsius. So it is superheated steam. If we check that values, if we check enthalpy value in steam table, we will get superheated steam. The status is superheated steam. That superheated steam will get expand in turbine. Okay, we always require superheated steam. Why not wet steam or dry steam? Okay, why not dry saturated steam? Because if we use dry saturated steam or wet steam, the moisture will be there in that steam, and that moisture will corrode, that moisture will damage the turbine parts. Okay, here when you can see this is the jet of turbine. Okay, there is one throttle, and at that throttle there is one jet. This jet will impinge water on turbine blades. So if there is moisture, there will be impact on blades. So what happens? There will be damage of blades. So efficiency of turbine will decrease in that case. So we avoid moisture in steam. So which type of steam we require? We require superheated steam. So our aim is to get superheated steam. In this boiler, if we are getting wet steam, if there is some moisture in the steam, what we can do? We can check how much moisture is present. Okay, so we have to perform a practical. The name is determination of dryness fraction, and that's why we have to use separating calorimeter and throttling calorimeter. These two devices. Also, when we will study Rankine cycle, we should know all these lines: steam line, fuel line. Okay, to find out its efficiency. So let's focus first on boiler. What are the various properties of boilers and the description of this boiler? This is vertical boiler. There are tubes inside, and within that tube water is circulating. So it is water tube boiler. Okay, water tube boiler. The pressure, the maximum pressure we can get. Here the chart is given. See, the steam output is 600 kg. This is the specification of boiler. If someone asks you what is the capacity of boiler, then you have to say our boiler is 0.6 ton or 600 kg per hour. So that's the specification. So when you will read any specification, this is the main important specification of that boiler. The working pressure is also important. Beyond this, you cannot increase the pressure. The working pressure is 10.5. By maintenance, we have increased it up to 12 bar. Okay, and our cutoff is around 8.5 bar. For safety purpose, we have kept cutoff 8.5 bar. Okay, the design pressure is around 17.5. So you can increase pressure about 12 bar also, up to 7.5. But for safety purpose, we have set it to 12 here. They are saying working pressure 12, and we have set it to 8.5. So it will be more reliable. It will be more safe in that concern. Then there are various tests performed. Hydraulic test is performed. It is performed at around 25 bar. And the efficiency of boiler is around 80 plus minus 2%. We have to find efficiency also for this boiler. That's the next experiment. And various other specification is also given. Now you see, I will show you a steam line, and then I will tell you how to find out dryness fraction. Now see, there are various steam lines. How we feed water? We are having water tank outside. There is one pump. We pump that water. That water comes to this cylinder. This is softening tank. What we do in this softening tank, what water is stored in that water tank outside, that is normal water tank. When we pump that water, there is hard water. Hard water means there is some salts in the water. So we have to remove that salts. If we use same water, hard water, in boiler, what happens? The scales will generate in water tubes. Then water tube diameter will decrease. As water diameter will decrease, the pressure will increase excessively. Okay. Then what happens? Efficiency will decrease in that case. Like our heart attack. Why heart attack comes? Because of that veins get blocked. So if this vein gets blocked, the pipe can burst in that case. Okay, accident will happen. So we do not use hard water. We use soft water. So what this cylinder do? It will remove scales. So it will remove salts. So that we are getting soft water. Then we store that soft water in this tank. We are having one tank, 1000 liter tank. Here we save it. Here we store it. From this 1000 liter tank, we supply water to the boiler. We have to feed water to the boiler. So this is the pipe. So it is underground pipe. This pipe comes to, here you can see, the pipe comes here from that tank. From here, the water will go to this column. This is economizer. We are using this economizer to increase efficiency of boiler. So this is one accessories. There is one experiment named accessories and mountings. So we have to study it separately. So this is accessory. We are using this accessory to increase efficiency of boiler. From this column, water will go to this pump, Actually this pump is, this centrifugal pump is pumping the water. So water will come from that softening tank to this pump. From this pump water will go to this boiler. We are using this economizer to increase temperature. The normal temperature is around 30 degrees Celsius. If surrounding temperature is 25, the normal temperature, tap water temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius. So softening water temperature will be 25. When it will come to this economizer, some temperature will increase. So 25 to suppose 50 degrees Celsius, it is increasing. This 50 degrees Celsius water will go to boiler. Why we are going to increase temperature? If we increase temperature, the boiler work will reduce. It means fuel will be saved. We are using diesel fuel. This is diesel tank. We are using diesel fuel. Okay, we are spraying that diesel. That diesel will burn. Heat will generate. That heat we are supplying to water. Okay, so water temperature will increase. So basically, what we do in boiler, we increase water temperature. Okay, we increase water temperature and we increase up to boiling point. Then we change its phase and we create steam. We generate steam. So we have to increase temperature first, okay, to change the phase. So if we are feeding 50 degrees Celsius water, we are saving our diesel, okay, we are saving our diesel and efficiency will increase. Okay, overall benefit we are getting, overall output we are getting, that will increase, efficiency will increase. We are getting money benefit, it will be economical. So water will go to this tank. Here there are circular tubes, as I said before, because it is water tube boiler. Okay, so it will circulate from downward to upward. It will circulate. When it will circulate from downward to upward, its temperature will increase. Boiling point will achieve. From boiling point, when heat will be added, its phase will change, and we know the steam will generate. And we are expecting superheated steam. That steam will come out from this opening. See, from this opening, the steam will come out. There is one temperature sensor which will sense temperature, and we are getting this temperature value here on this panel. So we will know what is the output steam temperature. Now you can see there are two outlets again. One, there are two way. Steam can go that side here, and steam can go here at this side, left side and right side. Now you see there is one mounting called safety valve. This safety valve we are providing to restrict the flow. As flow will be excessive, or the pressure of that steam will be excessive, this valve will get open and it will go to atmosphere through this bypass valve. Okay, so we are not sending steam to here, or we are restricting flow of steam at this side. We have to supply steam to turbine. See, now there is one other side. From this side we have to supply steam to the turbine. See, so this is turbine line. Okay, this steam line will go to turbine. Now see, there is one another line. Sometimes what we do, we close this wall. This is top wall, the kind of mounting. You can see this is top wall. This is kind of mounting. If this wall is closed, steam will go this side. At that time, we keep this open. If this is also closed and this is also closed, then what happens? This pressure is increasing inside. Pressure is increasing because steam is not coming out. Okay, steam will form. Okay, we are generating steam, but it is not coming out. So steam pressure will increase inside. So when we have to increase pressure, we will keep both walls closed. Okay. Now the steam have generated. Suppose we require 8 bar steam, 8 bar pressure steam, and 300 degrees Celsius temperature. Now it is generated. Now we have to supply it to turbine. But if we are not sure that dryness fraction is not 1 dryness fraction means 100% steam, 100% steam, 100% gaseous phase of water. We are not we are not know is dryness fraction. Then what we do? We open this first. We open this bypass. This is bypass. We don't send steam directly to turbine, because if there is some moisture, that turbine blade will get corroded. So we don't send directly a steam to turbine. We check its dryness friction first. Okay, by manually we check it first. So we open it. This bypass opens to the atmosphere. So by observation only we check that there is some moisture or not. Okay. Now there is no any moisture, only steam is coming out. We are sure now. So we close this and we open it. As we open it, you can see the line goes to turbine. Okay, the line goes to turbine. But still we are not sure 100% that steam is 100% dry. By observation, we know it is 100% dry. Means that is our conclusion by observation only. But that can be wrong. Okay. By this setup only, by this dryness fraction setup only, we can find out how much is the dryness fraction. If it is 98% dry, suppose, means 2% moisture are there. That 2% moisture also can damage turbine. So we have to check it first. So what we are doing, see, this steam line, it will go to turbine. Also if you see, it will go to this setup. So we don't want to send it to turbine. We have to send it to setup first. If it is okay, then we will allow it to pass through turbine. So what we will do, we will stop steam flow here. So this is another stop valve. So here we are going to restrict the flow. So steam will not go to turbine. Okay, it will not expand in turbine and it can pass through this pipe. See, there is no any restriction. There is only one coupling is given. It will come to this setup. Now see, our main practical started from here. Now we will learn how to find out dryness fraction. Now see, there is one wall. See, here there is one wall. We have to open it. Okay, we have to open it to allow steam to pass through this setup. Now it is open. Now, first of all, the moisture, whatever moisture is there in turbine, in this steam, it will get separated in this separating calorimeter. So this is mechanical type. This is mechanical type. There is one mesh is provided inside. When steam will impact on that mesh, the water particles will get separated. So it will get stored here inside. Okay, and that separated moisture particle that we can collect from here. See, there is one glass tube is given. Here we will know how much was the level of that moisture. If there are more moisture, suppose 50% moisture is there. Here we can observe this level. And the wall is given. One wall is given. This is also stop wall, and we can collect that moisture. So moisture mass is suppose what moisture we have collected here. That is suppose 100 gram. Okay, and also we have to condense this water. So at the end of or below this separating calorimeter, there is one condenser. See, there is one condenser. So in this condenser, we condense that steam because we have to wait or we have to measure mass of that steam also. Then only we can put values in our formula. What is our formula? Formula is mass of dry steam divided by mass of dry steam plus moisture. So we have collected moisture here. We should know mass of dry steam. Okay. So if it is in gaseous phase, we cannot measure it. We cannot measure its mass. So we have to condense it first, then we can measure. So we condense that moisture, that steam also. Okay. 100 gram moisture is there, and suppose 400 gram steam is there. Means what will be the dryness fraction? By that formula, 0.75 is the dryness fraction by using separating calorimeter only. Okay, we can use only throttling calorimeter also. There are three types of calorimeter: separating, throttling, and if we are using both, that is combined separating and throttling calorimeter. So three types. Here we are using combined separating and throttling calorimeter. So we can attach this condenser to separating also, if we are using separating calorimeter only, but we are using combined separating and throttling calorimeter. So at the end of throttling we have provided this separating calorimeter. First of all, we are separating moisture here in separating calorimeter, and what steam will left in this separating calorimeter, that steam we are again passing in this throttling calorimeter. Maybe this separated steam will have some moisture, right? So that we are going to check. Now what process we perform in this throttling calorimeter? See, there is one calculation part that is very important here. See, there is one throttle. Here one throttle is provided. Before throttle one pressure gauge is given. After throttle one pressure gauge is given. So before throttling and after throttling we will know what is pressure of steam, dry steam. After separating it from separating calorimeter, we have passed it through this throttle to throttling calorimeter. This is just a box. The main thing here is throttle. Okay, what is throttling process? In throttling process, we know that enthalpy before throttling and after throttling is same. So can we use this property? Yes. So here enthalpy is suppose H1. After throttling enthalpy is H2, right? So before throttling pressure is P1, let's say P1. After throttling pressure is P2. When there will be throttling, what happens? This pressure will lower down. The pressure will lower down. Suppose here pressure is 5 bar and after throttling pressure is around 1.2 bar. So pressure will reduce. We know that as vapor pressure reduces, the boiling point reduces. Suppose here before throttling pressure is 5 bar and temperature is around 110 degrees Celsius. So at 5 bar the boiling point is around 150 degrees Celsius. 150 degrees Celsius. And temperature here is 120 degrees Celsius or 110 degrees Celsius. Suppose 120 degrees Celsius or below 150. Okay, 5 bar and 120 degrees Celsius means this steam before throttling, it will have some moisture. It will have some moisture. Some X factor will be there. Okay. After throttling, what happens? Pressure will reduce. Now it is 1.2 bar. For 1.2 bar, the boiling point decreases. It is around, let's say, 105 degrees Celsius. But temperature is not decreasing. Here temperature is around 120 degrees Celsius. 120. Here also temperature, let's say 118. It is decreased by 2 degrees Celsius because of some heat rejection through this pipe. Some temperature decreases. If we use insulation, the temperature also will not decrease. So here temperature is how much? 120 degrees Celsius. Pressure is 5 bar. Here temperature is how much? Here temperature is around 105 degrees Celsius. Pressure is 1.2 bar. So if we check enthalpy value, at 105 degrees Celsius and 1.2 bar in steam table, what we get? The steam condition is superheated steam. Steam condition is superheated steam. So our H2 is nothing but H sup. Suffix we write SUP, right? For superheated steam enthalpy. H, small h, that is specific enthalpy of superheated steam, H sup. So right side of our equation is H sup. So H1 is equal to H sup, and H1 is what enthalpy we are having before throttling. Okay, and that will be HF. HF is what? Enthalpy of liquid water plus X2 HFG. Why X2? Because here what dryness fraction we have calculated, for that we are using X1. Dryness fraction using separating calorimeter. We name it X1. For throttling calorimeter we name it X2. So before throttling, how much is the enthalpy? HF plus X2 HFG is equal to H sup. So that will be our equation. So by this equation we can find out H2. So at 5 bar 120 degrees Celsius, what is HF value, what is HFG value, that we will know. at 1.2 bar 105 degree Celsius, what is H soup value, that we will know from steam table, and we have to find out X2 value only. So as we know X2 value, as we know X1 value, combinedly we can find out dryness fraction. How? X is equal to X1 into X2. So by using this formula, we are getting dryness fraction. Suppose here we have got dryness fraction 0.7. X1 is 0.7. Here we have got dryness fraction 0.9. So X1 into X2, that is 7 into 9. So around 0.63. 0.9 into 0.7. Around 0.63. So that much dryness fraction we are getting. So that will be the dryness fraction. After this throttling calorimeter, we condense that steam, and this condensate we measure, and that mass we require to find out dryness fraction of separating calorimeter. Previously we done this calculation. We done this calculation in separating calorimeter. Mass of dry steam divided by mass of dry steam plus moisture. Okay, so mass of dry steam is required. That we are getting after this throttling calorimeter when we condense dry steam here. Okay, here we collect it. There is one opening. See, there is one opening. This is inlet and outlet pipe. This is inlet and outlet pipe, which will taken out heat from that steam. So steam will get condensed, and we are getting condensate. That condensate is nothing but mass of dry steam that we require for calculation of separating calorimeter dryness fraction. So this is the setup. If you have any doubt about this setup, please ask me personally. I am always available on WhatsApp. You can ask me. So thank you so much for joining this practical. Thank you.